It was a few years ago now, when I was staying in the Kenyan desert. I was in a house on my own. I was staying on my own, but I'd made a good connection with the guy that used to come and guard the house for me overnight. We'd come to an agreement one day that I could drag my mattress outside and sleep out overnight. What compelled me to even ask was the vast open desert sky. The sky there each night was crisp and clear and covered in bakali, as he called them, clusters and clusters of stars. The stars had grabbed at my attention. There was something so intrinsically beautiful about this sky that by its very existence it commanded awe at our Creator. I dragged the mattress outside and gazed at them miles and miles away from me. The sky was vast, teeming with beauty, so freeing to look upon. It was as though I was looking on the Creator's blueprints for all the universe, and everything seemed to fall into place. Everything gained perspective. I breathed in deep the clear, unpolluted air. The intense daytime heat seemed to lift off the sand around me. I fell asleep. The next thing I knew, it was 3 a.m, and now I was cold. Looking down, I tried to keep myself covered as my body shivered under the sheets I'd brought outside with me. My guard was the other side of the house, and suddenly I was aware of the clear exposure I had to the outside world. Scorpions were my biggest threat, he'd said, then hyenas. Lions were rare, but you'd be unlucky. He hadn't mentioned any human threat. I gazed sideways, and in the warmth of the house not far away glowed a nightlight. I gathered up my sheets and crept inside for the rest of the night, to the comfort of my own room. I slept there until morning. As I felt the Lord remind me of this night a few days ago, he began to speak to me through it. He began to speak of clarity and priority and vision. He took on the persona of the vast open sky, and I realised that when I stood outside of my own home, outside of the walls of my house that I'd built, and gazed upon his beauty, all things seemed to fall into perspective. It was as though the hierarchy of the universe seemed to fall into place, and no queries at all, I found my position in the eternal storybook of the Lord. Sure, there was more risk in the open. In full view of the open sky, I would also be the first to be seen by hyenas. I was in the scorpion's natural habitat. I was at risk of human attempts on me, or even the widely feared lion's gaze. But captivated by the beauty of his presence with me, none of these seemed to pose a real threat. What could ever take this newfound freedom from me? The Lord highlighted to me my early wake-up, my move inside, and how for the sake of comfort I'd lost sight of the sky. Inside my temporary home, my wider vision was lost. My eyes began to rest on more menial things, things I had done, things I had built, things I had made. Even as I tried to look out for him, the smallness of my windows limited my vision, and the pollution from my artificial lights clouded my sight. He showed me how it had seemed sensible to go inside, for warmth and comfort and life, for survival. But really it had degraded me and my vision, from him and his plans to me and mine. What you lend your eyes to brings its own priorities, he said. Then his spirit led me back out from the house, back out to the panoramic sky, back out to the fullness of him on show, not crammed into our houses, our homes, our creations, our busyness, but just him for who he is. Far beyond anything imaginable, glowing with beauty in his very essence. And I realised I would pick this over anything. I felt like the disciples in John 6 when they say to Jesus, "Lord, where else would we go? You are eternal life." This place, captivated in the beauty of his presence, was so true, so real, so overwhelmingly freeing that I didn't even want the option of a house to go to if it got cold. I no longer even wanted the option of comfort to retreat to if predators came out. I realised how trapped I had been in the house, how insular. I even went as far as to wanting to demolish the house, to give myself no opportunity of hiding in there again. And then I heard the Lord say, this is wild living now. Tearing down those walls means no more personal base, no more security for self, no more pride, no more own place, no more comfort for whenever you want it. Smashing down those walls means committing to the nomadic. Smashing down those walls means comfort comes from me, provision comes from me, shelter comes from me, protection from predators comes from me. Smashing down those walls means total reliance on me, utter dependence. I am now your energy source, your provider, your go-to, your guide. And I knew it was true. That although it seemed terrifying to knock down the house that I had found comfort in, that he would prove true in all these things, far more than anything the house had ever given me. The Lord was now asking for wild living, not to just step out of my own house and experience him in the fullness of who he was, but to go back to the house and smash down the walls I had been dwelling in, to throw out plan B, to chuck out the contingency plan, to trust him entirely. Now come in and stay close, he said. Keep your eyes on me, fix your eyes, for locking eyes with me is the only way your frame will be held up now. Lose sight of me and you will crumble, my friend. For now I am so intrinsically woven into your very being by my spirit that you will not stand without me. And suddenly I saw that it was in our weakness and leaning everything on him that we gained everything. It was in our nothing that the church was able to rise as vessels filled with and exhibiting only his power, true might. In fact, it was this seeming weakness that was indeed our strength for the new. So I asked him to take a hammer to the house. No more backup, I said. No more opportunity for compromise. Now everything will come from you. All in your timing. No manipulation. No movements without his move. We rest the entirety of ourselves on his very presence and echo the words of Moses by saying, Lord, what else would distinguish us from any other people on the earth? This is wild living now. This is utter dependence. This is strength for the new.